Hello, Orla here, and welcome to another Orla B Epic Masterclass. This is lesson 3 from our Marketing the Orla B Way and our Epic Marketing Framework. So, in the earlier videos, we looked at why you need a marketing plan, how to get out of your own way when it comes to marketing. In the last video, we looked at the 3 phases of an epic marketing plan and some marketing inspiration when we told the story of Canva and we talked you through the epic framework from a Canva perspective. In this video, we are going to look at the role of social media in your marketing, and we're going to help you create your epic marketing plan or your marketing framework. You are going to get out your workbooks, and alongside listening to this training, you are going to create your plan so that you have something to follow, so that you are confident in what you are doing and you are confident that you are getting the best spend on your marketing spend. You're creating the best offer or the best promotion that you can, and also that you are guiding them through a process. Because if you don't know your process from getting in front of customers, getting them to know, like, and trust you, getting them to buy from you, and getting them to buy from you again and again and recommend you, then absolutely nobody will. So let's get straight in there and let's look at the role of social media in your marketing. There is a lot of talk about social media. If Instagram or Facebook goes down, there is widespread pandemonium. If they change their algorithms, even Twitter changes their algorithms. If anything happens on LinkedIn, people go into meltdown. They cannot believe this has happened because in many cases, it has a direct impact on their business and the results that they're going to generate. So the bottom line is people are placing far too much faith, trust, and responsibility into a platform that they do not own. But let's look at this in perspective here. Social media is not your marketing plan. It is not social media marketing. Social media forms part of your marketing plan. So let's look at the 3 components in your marketing, the 3 key components. You need a market, someone to tell your story to, that is your ideal client. You need a message, that story to tell. Is it about your amazing product or service, and also what you want them to do next? And the third thing is you need a method. You need a way to communicate your message to your target market. And that's what social media is. Social media is one method, and it's one of a vast array of methods that you can choose depending on the type of business that you have. But what we have learned, and what we've learned in recent years, is that you have to own the process. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn, even email to a certain extent with GDPR and changes that have happened in that regard, you have to own the process. You cannot rely on someone else. And for the most part, you have to choose an array of methods, not just one. You cannot be heavily reliant on one, because if Mark Zuckerberg changes his mind on how he wants to run things, and we know that he does, it's going to impact Facebook and Instagram and their algorithms. And what we know from 5-6 years ago is that people who had built up amazing Facebook fan pages and they had, tens of hundreds of thousands of followers and they have massive reach, overnight, their followers stopped seeing their messages. Overnight, they stopped having the same influence that they had, and they had to start from scratch. And they had to start from scratch on other platforms where it's harder to grow the more established the platform is. So I want to remind you that social media has to form part of your bigger plan. It will evolve, and relying on how it works now is not your end goal. You have to use it how it works now, but plan for how it's going to work in the future. So you have to understand marketing and utilize what is available now, and also prepare for future changes. And protect your hard work, and protect your business. And for that reason, in conjunction to social media marketing, I want you to also consider local marketing, paid for marketing, because paid for marketing is the most thing that you're going to control, and also email marketing. And the reason I say email marketing is because it's an easy first step. You know, if people can provide you with an email address in return for something of value, you can then own the process. You know, you own that list in terms of it's something there that you can nurture, it's something that you can look after, and it's high returns when it's done well. And I know what's happening. You're sitting there listening to this going, but the email rates are really low and nobody's answering my emails and people don't read emails anymore. There's too much coming into their inbox. Remember, I'm not saying email marketing is the only thing that you should use. I'm saying that you should use email marketing in conjunction with social media, in conjunction with paid for advertising, in conjunction with local advertising, in conjunction with the other ways that work best for you, but it's going to complement what you're doing. And it's also going to be something that you can build on, you can grow on, and it's going to form the backbone of your business, because your email list, unless people unsubscribe and they're getting fed up with what you're providing, your email list is going to grow and grow and grow. And even if it's growing at a slow rate, that's okay. That's okay. What's important is that you learn about your customers, you continue to nurture them, and you continue to focus on growing your email list. Okay, so I hope you understand now why social media is an amazing resource, absolutely amazing, but it's only part of your marketing, part of the method in which you communicate your message with your target market. Okay, let's get down and dirty. Let's help you create your epic marketing framework. And just to recap, it is the evolution, the natural journey that takes your target market from being potential customers to interested customers to actual customers who are super passionate about what you offer. They want to buy from you more and more, and they want to recommend you to their friends. But let's not forget, you have to own this step-by-step process. You have to own these 9 steps. And when they're all working together, that is what helps you grow your business. You know, it's no standalone step that's going to help you grow your business and create a sustainable business. It's all of these working together. So, potential. When we look at phase 1, who your customer is, what your message is, and what your method is. So, who is your target market? What key message would you like to share with them? And how will you do this? So let's go straight in there. Your potential customer. Now, you by now have already done the epic masterclass on your ideal customer. So you know who your customer is. You have created a customer profile. You know what matters to them and what's important to them. And you know why they want what you offer. So the next step of creating your potential message is going to be a lot easier. And I want to ask you, what is your marketing message to your customer? You know, what are you trying to share with them? And often this has 2 parts. It is about your transformations, and it also has an offer to encourage them to take the next step. And this offer is what differentiates brand awareness marketing from direct response marketing, you know, because you want to tell them what you want them to do next. Do not confuse your customers. I want you to be really straightforward in your message. Think back to the Canva Pro example. It was the benefits of Canva Pro and try for free now for 30 days. It was really easy. It didn't ask me to do 101 things. It didn't ask me to go rooting for the next steps. It told me exactly what to do. But lots of people struggle when it comes to describing what it is that makes them different and describing their key message. But I want you to imagine that you're having coffee with a potential customer and you're sitting right across from them. And how would you describe to them what it is that you do, what it is that your product or service do? You'd be really sincere, wouldn't you? And you'd be really genuine. And you'd say something like, you know that problem that you have that's really bothering you? And you'd name the problem. And you'd say, we solve this by, and you would tell them what your solution is. And then you'd aim for a direct response message by telling them exactly what it is that you want them to do next. I'm going to give you some examples. One of these is for IWOCA. I've never heard of that, but it's obviously a bank. And it's straightforward finance tailored for small businesses. Find out how much you could get approved for in minutes. Credit scores not affected in applying, you know. And the key message there is get approved for up to 200,000. So they know that I'm a small business owner. They've gotten that in their targeting on Facebook, but it's also get approved and learn more. So it's got a key message there because it names the problem. The problem is I want straightforward finance, because for self-employed, finance can be really difficult. So they've made it straightforward, and also they've named a problem there. I don't want my credit score affected if I apply for any finance. So it's not going to be affected because it says there your credit score is not affected. Now, another thing that they do really well in this advert or this marketing message is they've tied in some social proof there. They've tied in the fact that they've got a 5-star rating on Trustpilot, and you have to work really hard to get that 5-star rating on Trustpilot. So that's social proof. And another social proof is they have a quote from another customer of theirs, just like me, that says very helpful from start to finish. So I know I'm going to feel taken care of. So that's one marketing message that's direct response. Now, the next one that I'm sure you'll be considerably more familiar with is Boots and number 7. And this advert came out when it was coming out of summer and coming into autumn. Now, autumn for many is the start of hibernation. It's a new season. People start to stock up, you know. It's about stocking up over the winter. Now, I know we don't need to do that nowadays, but lots of people do. So it's stock up and save, you know. It's number 7, stock up and save 25% on all number 7. And they have a shop now button. Now, I'm by no means saying that you have to reduce your prices, but I think this is a fantastic way of getting people to take action. It's got an amazing offer, and online only, and offer ends on Tuesday. You know, so they have got that sense of urgency there. And we know from the fundamentals of human behavior that people will only take action when they're told to do so. So it's encouraging you to take action. Now, these are direct response because they are telling us what to do. Now, some more examples of direct response is 2019, buy a season pass. You know, so it's explore now, buy a season pass from just £56 and get a free fast track worth up to 10. So it's not brand awareness. They're not telling me about the brand. They're not trying to make me more aware of the brand. This is get your season pass, buy it now. It's straight when I land on the website and they're telling me exactly what to do, and you've got your button there, explore now. The next one is Zappos. Another message that they have, it's the price matching celebration. So it's the celebration of the fact that they match prices. Now, I've cut off there in the screen grab, but the next thing is to find out how, and straight away. So as a small business, I would always recommend that you're aiming for direct response marketing. You do not have the luxury of a massive brand awareness campaign. You do not have the luxury of any form of of confusing your customers in any way. You have to tell them exactly what to do, and you have to move them along your marketing, your epic marketing framework, because we don't want to leave anything to chance. Now, in case you're wondering what a brand awareness campaign looks like, here are some examples. One here is the Always Like a Girl campaign, and this was an amazing marketing campaign because they basically reframed what it was like to be about a girl, you know, and they talk about always. And I suppose the key problem they're solving here is that, like, you know, you feel like a girl means it has to be girly and swing like a girl with something bad and run like a girl and play like a girl with something bad, but they're reframing that into something magnificent. It's absolutely fantastic, but it's not necessarily encouraging me to buy my always straight away, but it may mean that when I'm in the shops, I have a more favourable view of always. Another marketing message for brand awareness was the Dove Real Beauty, you know, so they're talking about real women, real beauty, you know, absolutely amazing. And it's an absolutely fantastic campaign, and I've seen it replicated quite a lot. Sainsbury's did one with their TU, I never know how to say that, their clothing range recently, where they spoke about real women and real beauty. So it's certainly something that's taken off, and it's certainly something now that they did break boundaries with this, where you don't have to look like a supermodel in order to be beautiful. It's acknowledging what's real. However, it's not encouraging me to buy it now. It's not creating that sense of urgency that I need to feel beautiful today. So again, you don't have the luxury of these marketing messages. You have to create the messages that encourage people to take action right now. So you know who your ideal customer is, and you're going to fill that in on your sheet. You know you're going to work on your marketing message. If you're not quite sure, start looking around, but think of the problem that you solve and how you're going to take them on the next step. And then you're going to think, okay, what's the method? Okay, what is the method here, my friend? What medium will you use to reach your client? Will it be social media marketing, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat, LinkedIn? Will it be email marketing? Have you got an email list? Will it be SEO or pay-per-click? Will you do some paid adverts to get people onto your website? Will it be snail mail or mail drops? Do you live in a local area whereby you feel that it would benefit you if you did some mail drops? Should you get out and do some more networking and events? Should you do some local advertising? Are there events that you could sponsor? Are there local print publications? What is local going on where you could advertise what it is that you offer? Now, as we've already said, you may not just pick one. You may pick one. It may work best for you, but you may pick more than one. But I've used the story before about ordering a pizza from La Favorita in Edinburgh. So I would drive down Leith Walk and see La Favorita because they were local. They would have an A-board outside their door talking about their pizzas. Then I would log on to Facebook, and because I was local to them, they would have a targeted Facebook advert reminding me to order my weekend pizza. And then I would log on to my emails, and I would also get an email telling me to order my pizza from them. So what they have obtained there is message consistency. They have obtained a consistent message across all platforms. It is absolutely essential that you have a consistent message. So here is an example from Boohoo. I've gone onto their website and it's 80% off everything, and then went onto their Instagram and they have click here for 10,000 styles at half price. So actually what happened there is it was a consistent message. I was just a bit slow when it came to the screen grabs. So what you don't want is you don't want to confuse your customers in any way by having one offer on local advertising, another message on Facebook marketing, and another message on your email. You have to become more campaign driven and having the same message across all mediums, all ways that you communicate with your customers. Okay, so let's move on to the next section. And this is, you have got your potential customers and they're now a bit more interested. So we're going to look at how you can capture their details. Now you may, depending on how your advert works, you may jump straight and get them to buy straight away. Your message may be buy now, buy now. We noticed from the example from Boots, it was number 7, buy now. But we noticed in the banking example, it was learn more. They knew they needed another step in the process, but you are going to decide yourself. If you have classes, it might be book now. If you're a website developer, it might be download this free report. If it is a product that you're trying to sell, it might be buy this product straight away. Depending on it, you might want to give samples of your product. You will decide. But whether through the initial inquiry or whether through the purchase, you will need to capture their details. You're going to need to build relationships with them, and you're going to need to convert them to encourage them to buy. Now, again, whether you do that straight away or whether you wait till after you've built relationships is entirely dependent on you, your product, and how effective your message and your marketing is. So when it comes to capturing details, I think it's very important to remember that just because you want to sell at this moment in time, it doesn't mean that people want to buy from you, And I want you to become aware of the seasons and the trends in your industry. You will know this the more that you know your ideal customer. I want you to become more aware of when they naturally buy what it is that you offer, when you need to create a sense of urgency, like Boots did in that advert with the number 7, where they were saying offer until Tuesday, how you need to do that. Because it's really important to remember that with what you're selling now, 30% would not buy it even if it were free. So 30% of people are not your motherfucking customers. Do not be offended by what they do and what they say. They are not for you. Okay? 30% aren't interested. So they may become interested, but you may need to take some time. Okay? 30% are interested, but not right now. So it's so essential that you have a way of capturing their details. It's so essential that you have a way of building relationships with them. 7% are open to buying but need some persuasion. So that's where some bonuses come in, some guarantees come in, like the advert that we had previously for the bank. A false sense of urgency, not a false sense, a real sense of urgency, a real sense of urgency that is your offer only runs until X date. How can you get them to buy? And only 3% are ready to buy now. But what I see happen time and time and time again is that people put their advert out And if somebody doesn't buy straight away, they throw their hands up in the air and say, I'm shit at this, or I need to reduce my prices. And they forget that actually it's very selfish of us in a way to think just because I'm ready to sell, you need to buy. You have to work with the way that marketing works. And you have to own your marketing. And you have to think, okay, by capturing details in your marketing, you can immediately increase your addressable market by up to 40%. It makes sense to do this. And it also removes the desire to reduce your prices to encourage people who would have paid full price to buy in the future. And there's various ways that you can capture details. You can create a landing page that connects to your email list and provide your audience with a free resource like a voucher, report, training. You can capture details of anyone that lands on your website. So if you say buy now and they go to your website, and they don't buy from you straight away, how can you encourage them to still leave their details? Is it a free sample? Is it free postage? Is it a free report? What is it that you're doing? Hope this all makes sense. So then we're going to move on to the relationship building. Now, we cover this in great detail in the Epic Masterclass on community building, but how can you build relationships with potential customers? So your community building approach to marketing is essential. How can you add value? How can you tell a story from your perspective? How can you provide case studies? How can you talk them through examples? How can you entertain them? How can you share your stories? It is so, so, so essential that you invest time in building relationships, because let's not beat around the bush here. You are not the only person in your industry. You are not the only person offering what you offer right now, but people are going to buy into your approach. People are going to buy into how you make them feel. People are going to buy into the emotional connection that you generate. And then the final step here is how to convert. How are you going to encourage people to buy from you? And this is where we identify, when do your customers naturally buy what you offer? If you're selling school uniforms, you wouldn't try and sell them in April, but to sell them in July and August. If you're selling Christmas trees, how do you naturally appeal? And you account for these peaks in your business plan. That's what you do. But essentially, if you have the same thing available all year round, there's no really incentive for people to take action now. So how can you make it easier for people to buy? We'll discuss this later, the power of 3 when it comes to packages. They're often presented in 3s, and how we can use that to encourage people to buy and to buy more. Can you add some guarantees? Can you add some bonuses? Can you have a genuine sense of urgency and a need for them to act now? Can you do a big massive campaign with a launch that says, okay, we know that at Christmas people are going to want to buy more of our gifts. So how can you put extra effort into your promotion around Christmas time? And then what you do is you effectively capture their details so that come January, February, you can own the process and you can stay in contact with them and present them with more offers to encourage them to buy more. Let's move on to the third phase, which is they're now your customers. These people have now bought from you. And your job is to make sure that you provide a world-class experience, the best possible experience. Then we want to encourage them to buy more from you. And then we want to encourage them to become a raving fan and to naturally want to recommend you. So when we look at experience, this is basically, how can you do your best? How can you do your best at saying, my mission here is to turn customers into fans? How can you over-deliver? And I think a really easy way to do this is to start becoming a Jessica Fletcher again and think of a time when you were wowed by customer service and how this made you feel. How can you build an emotional connection with your customers? And from a technical perspective, I would definitely recommend that you do not list everything you will provide in your marketing. Always have something up your sleeve. Always know that you have something up your sleeve to wow, so that you can over deliver. If you tell them everything, they're going to expect everything. If you tell them slightly less than everything and then over deliver, they're going to go, oh my God, I got more than I expected. That is absolutely amazing. There are loads of articles, loads of books out there on how to wow, how to provide a fantastic customer experience. It's your job now to go out, read those, look and get ideas and inspiration and jot down in your Epic marketing framework how you're going to do the same for your business. And then more money, less problems. If you're a child of the 90s, you'll see what I did there. If not, you will realize how uncool I am. So we want these people to spend more money with you. It goes without saying that it is considerably cheaper for you to encourage your existing clients to spend more with you than it is to go out and find new clients, because we already know that, because there are quite a few steps up until this point in your epic marketing framework. So how can you encourage customers to spend more with you? How can you create packages to encourage them to spend more? Now, we do have a bonus training on this that's going to cover this in more detail, so keep an eye out for that. And how can you encourage them to buy from you more often? So I'm going to use the example of, when I go to Starbucks. When I go to Starbucks, I always get a grande almond milk chai with 3 pumps of chai. So first of all, I'm spending more because it is the most dickish cup of tea in the world. It makes me sound like a right Egypt when I'm ordering it, but it tastes delicious. But first of all, I pay extra for the almond milk, and a chai tea latte in itself is expensive. But what happens if they recommend that I get a venti? What happens when I go in and they go, oh, would you like a venti? Would you like a chocolate coin with that? They always have sweets in front, and they always try and recommend things last minute. But the main thing to learn from Starbucks is that their primary packages are a tall, a grande, and a venti. And it's easy for us to upgrade. So the money is not made in you buying a tall, the money is made in you upgrading from a tall to a grande and a grande to a venti, because the price difference and what you're getting make a huge difference to them in terms of their bottom line return. So if every time I go in, instead of getting a grande, I get a venti, they're getting an extra, 30p off me every time. And that could be £3 a week, multiplied by 52, that could be another £150 a year on top of what I'm already spending. So just bear that in mind, that the power of 3 and encouraging people to make those upgrades makes a huge difference. And let's look at the mathematical way of doing this. So if you got a 20% increase, so I am not saying to you, when I want to encourage people to spend more, I'm saying, could you get 20% more customers? If you have 10 customers, could you get 12? And could you increase the amount of money they spend with you by 20%? So let's look at that Starbucks example where I just go from a grande to a venti. So instead of spending £10, could you get them to spend 12? And, could you encourage them to buy from you 20% more often? So let's say I go, Monday to Friday, I go 5 days a week. Could you encourage me to come back on a Saturday? How can you do that? Because if we look at the math, it's 10 customers spend £10 with you once a month is 100. But let's say I increase that to 12 times 12 is 144 times 1.2. So it is considerably more. Hope that makes a difference. And then let's look at Flirty 30. So let's say you're feeling really, really good and you think, okay, there are so many more ways that I can add value. So instead of trying to get 10 customers, you try and get 30%. You're going to get 13 customers. And instead of them spending a tenner with you, they're going to spend £13 with you. And instead of them buying from you once a month, they're going to buy from you 1.3 times a month. So that's about 4 more customers, 4. 4 out of those 13 buying from you more than once a month. Instead of having £100 a month, all of a sudden you're at £219.70. So encouraging your existing clients to buy more can have a dramatic increase to your bottom line and a dramatic increase to the money coming in without you having to go out there and find loads and loads of new customers. So another way of how you can sell more to existing customers is exclusive offer for your existing community. You want to reward loyalty. Time-sensitive offers like a payday offer, don't just call it that, think about it. Upsells, as we discussed, work well in packages. I saw this. I went into a pub recently to do some work, and I logged into their Wi-Fi, and it had a free dessert when you sign up for Wi-Fi. And I thought that was ingenious, because by signing up for their Wi-Fi, they have my email address, they know I've been there, they know I know where it is, they know I've purchased there, so they can encourage me to return again and again, and extra points for buying coffee. And then have you a product or service that complements what they already buy from you. So if they're already buying something, have you something else that you feel would be an amazing complementary thing? So I'm buying a main, it makes sense that I also buy a dessert. So how can you do that? And it's quite ingenious, that advert as well, because they're not saying get a starter, because they know, by the time you've logged into the internet, you've probably already ordered your food or are well on the way. but encouraging a dessert encourages you to stay longer, enjoy more of the internet. So I thought that was fantastic. Next step is, how can you turn your customers into raving fans? Can you name them? We see this locally in Edinburgh with Edinburgh Gossip Girls, online with Hinchers. Can you give them a name which depicts what they want to be called? And how can you encourage referrals? If we go back to the Canva example in the earlier video, they have a referral scheme, but I don't know if I've ever used the referral scheme that much. I like to shout about Canva because they over deliver. I like to shout about Canva because they provide amazing free training, amazing photographs, and they enable me to create training like this at an exceptionally low cost. Can you create a hashtag, etc.? And it's really important to remember that a fantastic customer experience, a fantastic emotional connection, a fantastic understanding of your customers will encourage way more referrals than a financial incentive. And there we have it, my wonderful friends. You have now followed the EPIC marketing plan. So you know that you have to own your own marketing process. It's not just about selling what you have now. You will lose customers if you do this. It's about creating a system and taking your customers on a journey and helping them buy through proven marketing techniques that encourage people to take action. And once again, I want you to understand before you implement. Start to look at companies different and how they take you through their customer journey. What is and is not relevant to you and your business. Get confident. Do not implement something that does not feel right for you. Implement something that feels right for you right now. You can always change your mind in the future. How can you create a customer journey for your customer? How can you test and measure and learn from what you're doing? If something's not working, change it. If something's not working, change it. But do not wait for perfection, because remember, done is better than perfect. And finally, your challenge is to complete your EPIC marketing framework in your handout. If you have a bank of existing customers, work on over-delivering, encouraging them to become raving fans and spend more with you before or alongside marketing to new clients, because we don't want a leaky bucket syndrome here. We don't want it to be the case that you're spending all this money on marketing, but you're not capitalizing on what you already have, because it makes sense to go to your existing clients first to wow them and to encourage them to spend more. And ensure you can capture details of potential clients and add them to your community, your email community, so you can build relationships before presenting them with the right offer at the right time. Ladies, it has been a pleasure, and thank you for listening to another EPIC Masterclass. Bye for now.